I'll write it and we'll do it live. We'll do it live. Gibberers and gibberettes, welcome back to another week of the pod. A pod sock where, as we say every week, we just can't help but find our front, mate. So much so that we have carpet burns on our elbows, which are very pointy. Sock, before we start, I just want to address the elephant in the room, mate. It's not the fact that Sevens missed the bus, and we'll get to that. Don't get me wrong. It's not the billions of good, hard, honest, working Australian dollars that we're missed out because we're not taxing our gas exports. And no, it's matters much more important than that, Socko. It's Ryan Couchman's dual status. Now, Supercoach head office. Is Stevie Wonder running the show? Are the old Marcus buys painted on? Or do you not watch Saints games like most Saints fans? Because as someone who's never laced them up myself, I'll tell you what, Sock. Toby's playing prop. Ryan's playing prop. And Flano, he's going to trick us all again this week with his same-day swap surprise of Selle starting at lock with Hamish on the bench. It's a funny game, rugby league. And as a man who's passed to a giggle amongst many things, Sock, it's my pleasure to ask you, how are things in Neutral Bay?
Mate, life is good, winner. We sat here last week. I was at a crossroads for my season. Not too dissimilar to the Saints, actually, going to the last weekend. Things haven't looked great. Plenty of 0-3 starts in some of the rugby league comps. A week 4 was the week to turn it around. We were feeling good. We spoke about it. We spoke about circuit breakers. I've had one twice this week, in actual fact. Mate, so, look, what went right for me is also what went very wrong for me. What went very wrong for me was Saints. What went very right for me? Hamish Stewart's tackle count on Sunday afternoon or evening. Unfortunately, an absolute hate watch as a Saints fan last week. The rest of the rugby league I actually felt was pretty good last weekend. It was, I'd say, one of the best rounds in recent memory, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't know, mate. Life's good, league's good, as long as you're not a Saints fan. And if you are, hopefully you're there on the hill with winner on Sunday, I should say, this week, 5:30 p.m. He'll be chanting Flano out.
It'll be feral. It'll be feral.
Yeah,
Gibberers in the general Cogra, Carlton, Rockdale, Brighton, Sands even. Let's go as far as that. Any of you guys want to see a couple of feral idiots on the hill? Feel free to get yourself down to Cogra 5:30-ish on Saturday afternoon. And there's probably a fair chance we're whipping home somebody at the Leagues Club after. Who's the game after, Sock? It's Bronx versus Titans. Well, that's all pumped up. Tell us how territory, isn't it? That's 7:30, all pumped up stuff. Yeah. So the feral department, get involved. Get involved is all I'll say. Yeah, it was as I would have mused about on one of the review shows. It's good that we'll finally get a bit of hill justice after the overhead rain lightning screw job at Brookvale Oval last Thursday, mate.
Yeah. Look, it's always nice when you don't have to watch your team get humped from an Olympic swimming pool. So a bit of dry track footy this weekend. Hopefully not the only thing that you manage to stay dry from, though. Hopefully you find a few ways to get wet this weekend, mate.
Right. Well, yes. Don't we all? Don't we all? Don't we all? Speaking of someone who's in Olympic swimming pools, where the hell is Seven, Sock?
Mate, some would say he's drowning. Some would say he got on the mic early last week. He's cut a promo. He's come out fired out of the cannon. Vince has given him the mic. Has gone, do your worst, son. Get him going. Get all the people hating you. You got Socko, the hometown hero. You got the inspirational vet winner there, and he sent out the young punk Seven just with the mic to lay down some venom, and venom was laid down. Unfortunately, mate, he ran out of steam, couldn't back it up. He went out on Friday night and yet to be heard from since. So everyone on the Sunshine Coast can find Seven. There's a couple of $100 in it for you.
As we know, with our good long-time friend DJ Seven, and as many gibberers will probably get to know when they spot him in Magic Round, if you see DJ Seven in North Bondi Motorino gear, get out of his way, because the bloke's asking questions and getting plenty of answers. And if I know any one of my mates that knows how to work over a room, get a touch everywhere, introduce himself to potentially anyone with a pulse. It's DJ7 at the best of times, but when he has North Bondi Motorino gear on, look out, as we said before. But look, a week is a long time in Supercoach. 2 weeks is also a long time, but 3 weeks is long enough for him not to rock up today. So let's wish the fella all the best. I believe he's actually training for a half marathon at the moment. And yeah, that's going to be a good amount of time for him to run off his Supercoach head noise of the last fortnight, isn't it?
Mate, half marathon. He's clearly putting in the training for the post half marathon beers, I'd say.
Fair chance of it, Soccer. In terms of mans who are going well, last week we titled the podcast "The Death of Soccer" or something along those lines. But I'll tell you what, you're a Renaissance man. And in terms of circuit breakers, I'll just read a couple of stats out for you, mate. The first 3 weeks of the season, you averaged 1,139 Supercoach points. Last week, 1,266. So I'm no mathematician, but that feels like it's about a 80% increase. Mate, what did you say to the boys at training during the week? What did they hear? Was there honest conversations had in review sessions? Was, Tyrell Sloan saying he wasn't coachable and then he was coachable all of a sudden? Or what happened behind the four walls, mate?
Mate, look, we in true rugby league clean-out fashion went to market with an absolute war chest. One that would rival what Gus Gould built at the Bulldogs, mate. We had the war chest. We went to market. Yep. We got you guys in. We got some experience. We got some guys that just live and breathe that footy ethos. Welcome to the team, Isaiah Papali'i.
Welcome.
Just right on time. Welcome Dill Edwards. Unfortunately, not the circuit breaker we were looking for, considering he went for a nice little 32 last week. However,
right.
mate, it was just it was a tough week. We had some honest sessions. We spoke about shape. We spoke about getting to where we wanted to be on the field, getting to certain points, then playing a bit of eyes up footy from there. Look, the opponents came back, and shout out to Keats, long-time viewer and friend of the stream, and one for a beer at Magic Round. Mate, I've actually boogeymaned him out of nowhere. Before updates rolled through, he was ahead, and he got done by the devil in the detail, known as the sock in updates. So he went down to me by about 3 points.
Unlucky Keats, pack him, mate. I'm sure that given we're in like 6 different leagues, all 3 of us together, that will probably be paying each other this week again.
How was your week, Winner? What did you say to the boys? Obviously, you've climbed the rankings there. I'm seeing 10K on there. I'm saying he's about 4 figures this week. What are we talking? What's happened with you? What's worked well for you, mate?
Dizzying heights here at Tanny's Late Mail HQ, Socko. Last week we spoke about me getting vertigo, ranked at 21K. But I'll tell you what, I'm bloody Josh Giddey, ranked at 10K at the moment. I don't know what to do with myself, mate. I'm thinking of trading out fucking Nico. I'm thinking of bloody, captaining all pumped up to tell us how. I don't know. I'm out of my mind at the moment. I don't know what to do at this altitude. But yeah, no, it's been a pretty solid season so far. Made the Galaxy Brain decision to not trade in Sua Fa'alongo at any point. And then was late on Chan, a couple of mulligans to start off with. Shout out Gus Crichton and Jack Williams. Good to see you guys. Hope all goes well the rest of your season. You won't be involved in mine. But yeah, for the most part, given haven't had a lot of dudes who've done heaps well, been fairly happy with it. Special shout outs to AD, IPAP, Finafiliaki, and Nico Hines down the blind side. They've all been great for me and stood the fuck up in times of need. Socko, moving forward to the Gibberers League standings, as we do on a weekly basis, I have the pleasure to tell you, mate, that we have 3 new entries into the top 5 this week. I'll read them out for you, mate. So coming back into the top 5 is Weak Gutted Dogs, coached by Jamin Salmon in the form of Dan. He's in the 5th, so well done to you, Danny. Into 4th, Let's Go Brandon, coached by Rob. Now, that really throws me off there. The team's name is Let's Go Brandon. It's coached by Rob there, Socks. So not sure what's happening over at Rob HQ there.
Brandon Wakeham fan, I heard. He's a big Brandon fan. He's a trooper. When Brandon was arrested, he was there protesting his innocence. He went down to the dumps, got down to black farm workers, found out the truth. He's been supporting him on the comeback trail ever since, and got to see him go round last weekend. So power to you, mate. Let's go, Brandon.
Innocent till proven guilty, as we always say. Coming into third was the Dark Knight, coached by Adam, who I believe did me very well in a head-to-head this week. He pumped out like 1,400 for the week. So, well done to you, Adam. Speaking of blokes who are playing out of their skin in round 4, special shout out to Mr. 40 years too long, soon to be 41 years too long, Cam CW Win. He pumped out a 1396 this week. Now he's starting to. Listen, I'm hearing whispers of Dark Horse. I don't know about you, but the much maligned Cam Win with what I believe Seven described as one of the speckiest teams of all time last year. Cam Win's taken that on board and said, "Boys, I'm coming to get you," and he is actually sniffing around us in the overall ranking. So, well done to Camo with a 1396 last week. Now the top two in the Gibberers overall standings. Going from third last week to second this week is a bloke that I said keep an eye on. It's Stop the Count by Jesse. He also did me in a head-to-head this week. So well done to you, mate. But, Sock, I'll tell you what. Now, they say Penrith winning 4 straight was impressive, but to me, there's nothing more impressive than a bloke who's topped the Gibberers overall standings for the 4th week in a row. Nice. With a 20-point lead, that would be the Bullbaggers, coached by Benny. Well done, son.
Winner, I know you're a fan, mate, of your Tour de France, an avid watcher of the chase up and down the Col de la Croix. Mate, with that being the case, do we officially have a breakaway group yet with the man in first? Is this the first time we're noticing a breakaway from the peloton? He's obviously done an early lead.
Are you suggesting that the Bullbaggers is on EPO?
Yeah. Look, I think I saw him in a cafe in France saying, "I'll have whatever Lance did."
Yeah, as he goes to make his trade, some cooked Italian doctor is pumping blood into his system to increase his hematocrit and white blood cell count. Because that's what Mahela Ferrari did. Look into it. Really good book that all Gibberers and Gibberettes should read. Is called The Secret Race. It was written with a guy called Tyler Hamilton, who was on the Team Discovery channel back with Lance Armstrong. And I mean, we'd all do it. Let's be honest. Why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't give for an extra couple of white blood cells after a big weekend?
Hey, listen. What on Col de la Croix? You got to do what you got to do, I guess. So before we move forward and have a bit of a look at the games ahead, just want to shout out to everyone who tuned in for the game review pods on the weekend, or the game review pod. I got a little bit occupied on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I can't remember, whatever night, and that kind of wiped me out for the weekend. So we'll be back this week and probably pumping out 3 or 4 of them, given there's a few different days of games. But yeah, really enjoying doing those, guys. And thanks to everyone for tuning in and all your positive feedback. It's really appreciated. And yeah, we'll keep trying to find little random nuggets, like talking about Simi Sasangi 2 weeks before everyone else didn't heard of him. Throw over to the comments here. Keefe chimes in off the top and says, being a Dragons fan in the NRL is the NRL equivalent of self-harming. Okay.
Yeah.
Sock, do you want to address that one? Or
look, it is Keefe, but I tell you what, it's far cheaper than paying a dominatrix for humiliation and punishment. So, look, the cost of living's gone up. My dominatrix has gone goodbye, and I'll just keep on a Dragons game each week. Thanks, Keefe.
Boxzilla, how are you, Boxzilla? Socko got the boys with their shirts off. No shoes to go, Freddie style. I connect to the earth.
Mate, don't you worry, Boxzilla. We're going to get grounded at Magic Round if you're going to be there, mate. We will find some space. Don't know how many days without sleep we'll be, but we'll find somewhere to get our shoes off and touch the grass.
No shoes, but plenty of hope. And then Cam Wynn. Pause my Uber quest to say all the best in holding your sub 10-point lead ahead of me, Reese and Dill. Sock, good luck for the SC Cup, I guess.
What's this Uber quest? What's the go there?
Mate, Cowwin's got his fingers in a few different pies, didn't you know? You know, if he's not, you know, teaching kids their times tables by day, he's driving by night, and then even fucking a little cherry on top, sending a couple of emails for me and Toddy after that. You want to talk about diversifying assets in these tough economic times, Soccer? I mean, the man's not here to make excuses. It's not hard. It's not that hard for young people, is it? You just got to hustle like the young fella does.
Mate, where does he find time to analyse every trade with the same amount of head noise that you and I do?
Well done, Cam, having a cracking season, mate. Potentially a smoky for Origin selection. I'm going to say it off the top. And then Snickmas 25. Free them dogs.
Well, you've got more experience with chains. How do you go about letting your dogs off?
Sit, baby. You want to get a treat later? No. All right, so moving ahead. I just want to throw a couple of questions at you that have come through from the Gibberers chat. Not too many tonight. They're all kind of based around the one bloke, so we may be able to answer a few with one hit. I put the question to the Gibberers. Please respond to this message with any trade head noise. And again, we're not talking about the trading of rare earth minerals. It is Supercoach related. So G-Mac, Grant McCartan chimes in. He says, Samantha Sasangi noise. I'm guessing he means Sammy. He does correct himself and says, sorry, I just assumed that was his full name. Hope I've spelt it right. Dino chimes in and says, this is my address to the nation with no further elaboration, just the way we like it. Rugby League Realm says Samantha Sasaligi. And then Nick from Wigan, he says Simi Shady, Marshall Sasangi. And then Cade Upton finally comes in with a bit of sense, and he asked to trade Haas or not. Well, Cade, mate, don't know if you living under a rugby league rock, but we may have had probably one of the most critically acclaimed segments last week on this. And I believe, Sock, you were the affirmative, and DJ7 was the contrary. Is that correct?
I believe so. It was something like that. Either way, I'm happy to play devil's advocate in any situation. I mean, do you trade Haas? You've held him to this point. Do you really let him go now? I mean, you kind of missed the boat on some other people. I don't know. Hey, look, I'm over here with my own head noise, right? I'm thinking about booting. I'm thinking about booting Dill Edwards, who I just brought in last week as a circuit breaker. He's now got 100-odd break even against Melbourne. So look, do I trade Haas? Oh, what I wouldn't give for the luxury of owning paying Haas. I've had to, poor Reese over here had to run a front row of all pumped up to tell us how last week, and it somehow came off for him.
Yeah, how is the head noise vis-a-vis old Dylan Edwards? One of probably the funniest things you ever said to me was you were going to bring in a circuit breaker this week, and then when you got 37, you said, my circuit breaker tripped.
my circuit breaker tripped, yeah. Whoops, it was installed incorrectly. Turned out there was another fault in the house somewhere. So, yeah, mate, not quite sure what's happened there.
Yeah, Reese also chimes in and says, do I trade in Simi Sasagi or do I trade in Simi Sasagi? So he's certainly in pro Simi. Carter says, our second favourite Lebanese tiger, Twal or Keon. That's an interesting one. Well, it's Twal, no doubt. I mean, Keon's broken like one tackle all year, and Twal's like 100K cheaper. We'll get to the Simi Sasangi thing in a second, guys. So bear with us for not addressing it off the top. And then James Papworth, he says, Socko the sick puppy is at it again. Is he ever? Is he ever? All right, that's about it. So let's move forward, Sock. I've got a couple of different things to throw at you, but first I want to ask you, mate, who was the highlight of your week last week in your Socko Snickers side?
I mean, surely it has to be that Isaiah Papali'i trade in, right? Like, look, I mean, Nath is Nath, and we could go on for hours about Nath. Every pod could. So let's pick something different. I think it's the Isaiah Papali'i piece, right? You saw it. You and I both saw it a couple of weeks ago. We said absolutely got to have a piece of him. I think you got him in a week earlier than I did. Unfortunately, there was a bit of a jank issue with his minutes That week, I think he only went for about 70 through 60 minutes. Last week, we saw the power of him getting a full game. He looks like a must-have. Like it's so good. That whole Penrith left edge is just something else at the moment. Like I think you and I have mused about the fact that watching Penrith at the moment, they don't even look like they're playing the same sport as anyone else, right? Like it feels like you're like, oh, so this is what rugby league is, and then it's like, so what was the other team doing for the week? Because it looks like they might have been training the other code. Like it's just chalk and cheese. So I'd say, mate, like his ton is desperately needed for the Snickers. 102 bumps him up to a 3-round average of 84.3, averaging 77.5 over the first 4 weeks.
Call it 78.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, 35 break even this week, and he was owned by 7% of teams last week. So what a performance by him. He's a pleasure to own. If you ignore the few years that he was at the Tigers and and all the shit that happened there, you know, him in his Para days, and then now at the Panthers and getting the minutes, one of the easiest owns you'll ever have. Yeah. I don't see him leaving my team this year.
Mate, I'd go as far as saying like he's pretty much he's a dead set top 5 2RF. Just thinking about it a bit deeper today, if I hark back to 2024 when I came 11th, by the way, I don't know if I ever told you that, but mate, that entire year I ran. Why did we let him go? Terrell May, this is my number 1 front row forward, and I had a rotating cast of clowns as my second. It was like Samuel Afainu, Black Boots, the Black Boots God, Liam Henry. That was it. And I think this year, you know, we saw it. Are we seeing a bit of an overcorrection when it comes to FRFs? Again, you know, 1 month into the season, don't shoot us. But, you know, your Haas's, Tarpanay's, Terrell May's, Keon's at a pinch. You know, is the age of the 50 to 65, 70-minute FRF nigh? Is it dead? And should we be targeting 70-plus minute edges in our FRF? In the form of IPAP and all pumped up, but tell us how. Because, hey, what we're noticing across the board, think about your Ark Martins, think about your Joe Chans, your Lasardis, all these edge 2RFs who are just flopping the house down, you know, and fucking just basic in the 60s. You can just confidently say, like, they're going to do that most weeks, assuming the fitness stays up. Is that a safer bet at 200K less than a Payne Haas, of a 200K less than a Joey Taps? I don't know. Probably not. But hey, it's a bet that I'm willing to place because I've got no other way to bring Payne Haas in. So let's see how we go, mate.
I think we're seeing the benefit of like try scoring second rowers. Like, you look even at like your KPPs, your Samuel Afainu, all these dudes, like they're up. If you can get someone in with Jules into the front row who has that, like, why would you pay 800K for Haas when respectfully you're going to get the same performance out of IPAP as long as he goes over a Jags and attacking stat each week?
Yeah, which he won't jag on each week, but law of averages, yes, he will every 2 or 3, and try assist, TA, whatever. One thing that I think is kind of interesting as well to factor into that previous statement is the faster ruck speed. You know, we mused about it a few weeks ago with the 6 agains, ball in play, ball in play, ball in play. Get it through your heads, lads. This is what they want. They want the ball in play. They want fatigue in the game because it drives engagement. TV deals, AFL, 4.7 billion, et al. What we're noticing with your Fina Fuiakis and all the other fellows you mentioned before is these guys that can go hard for 80 minutes are getting the opportunity with their upside. You know, defenses are kind of falling apart at certain points of the game. Yeah. You know, edges are just fucking flying through gaps, and the upside's being realized with guys like all pumped up with Tell Us How being the top scoring front rower last week. Yeah. You know, so just something to monitor. In terms of my highlight, mate, it's hard to go past all pumped up with Tell Us How. I mean, you know, everyone owns him, so that's that. But it was an absolute poo slinger on Sunday night. Just seeing him go for a double had me up and about on my feet. You know, beating my chest. Like I was Brock Lesnar, but yeah, mate, it's hard to go past AD Adam Dewey. You know, a lot of head noise and the gibberish chat in the lead up to that game. You know, has he got strapping on? Why is Appy saying weird shit in the pre-game interviews? There's just Riddles Deluxe coming out of the Benji camp. We find out today that you know, he wasn't even going to play. Like it was literally an interview on SEN or something where it was like, oh no, I just got through the warm up and gave Benji the thumbs up. And it's like, mate, we were having absolute kittens like in the half hour before kickoff, but then he came out and pumped out a ton without even kicking. Who needs the kicking? So yeah, that was special. That was special, Sock.
I mean, like just on it, how good was the Tigers' performance as a whole? Like, it really feels like they're in the corner this year. Like, look, obviously we spoke about KPP. I think I've touched on KPP a few times with the shackles off, but the whole team, like, it feels like there's better balance, like particularly for them to go over to New Zealand on that greasy surface, which you and I hate. Like that is probably our most hated game slot, I'd say, each week is that sort of Friday night early or like even Saturday night like New Zealand Wales game. It's just we hate it because it's greasy. It's kind of a bit of a dogfight. It's whatever. And even that game was a little bit of a poo slam, but like how impressive is the Tigers' performance as a whole? It looks like there's good balance across the park. Luai's out. Jock Madden comes up, like he had probably the best you've ever seen him play. Like it's just there's something building at the Tigers. And look, as a Dragons fan, just in case anyone's forgotten in the last 5 minutes, you know, like what I wouldn't give to be feeling something like what Tigers fans should be feeling. I think there's a legitimate reason to have hope there, and I think they're starting to play an entertaining brand of football. I think the teams that are really struggling at the moment, or the teams that are going to lose a lot at the moment, the teams that I'd classify as playing a bit more negative football. So think your Holbrook Knights, think your Holbrook Knights, sorry, not Holbrook, Adam O'Brien Knights, think your Seabold Seagulls, think your Flannery's Dragons. I'd say the teams that play this more negative, tight, like big forward pack, kind of more traditional football style teams at the moment are really unappealing to watch and quite unappealing Supercoach scoring wise as well. I'm finding for myself at least, and I don't know if you're finding the same thing, Reece, I'm sure you'll tell us, but I think it's almost like, and we spoke about this, like they're losing slowly. Like you watch it, and like you watch the Saints this year, they've been ahead in every single game. It feels like they're losing it slowly. Last year it felt like, oh, they're almost there. They get one or two players in the right position, or they execute that field goal better, or whatever. Like they're going to get the wins, right? This year it doesn't feel like that. It feels like they're just losing the game slowly. It feels like there's no points enough that is them far enough ahead to kind of grind out a win. I'd say the same thing watching the Seagulls. Like they're kind of atrocious at the moment too, you know, and it's resulted in Seabold being sacked. So I think the teams that are suffering are the ones that are playing that traditional negative-minded football and haven't adapted to the attacking style, which is this fast, free-flowing. When you got the points, when you got the possession, you've got to have players to put on. You've got to make the most of the momentum and hope you outscore the other team at the end of 80 minutes.
Yeah, it's interesting what you said, especially about the West Tigers, that performance over there. You know, we talk often about how good Matty and Cronk is on Fox Sports. You know, the way they were talking about, not Jack Cogger, sorry, bloody Jock Madden, very similar to Jack Cogger in the way he played on the weekend. Just kind of straightened them up, got them a bit more direct, opened up space for Dewey out the back. And that's seemingly what's working, getting those little men through the middle of the ruck, shifting, creating mismatches with numbers and with speed. Kind of curious as to what happens there when Luai comes back with Alex Twal, because I think they may have stumbled into a real Jack Cogger kind of bloke with, what's his name, with Madden. You know, does he eat into Twal's minutes? I don't know. Just finger to the wind stuff. You probably still get 60 out of Twal, but I don't know if he'll be locked in for 80. Anyway, point is, yeah, completely agree. Like those teams that are kind of going direct, fast feet through the ruck, small ball. It's small ball season, baby. It's small ball season. Couple of things. So what we're just going to do tonight, guys, we're just going to talk about. I'm putting Sock on the spot here. I'm going to give him the case for 5 different pod center wing guns that are a trade in probably next week, realistically. But I'm going to run through a few of them with him, and then we're going to have a look into the games coming up this weekend, all 8 of them, and we've both picked a player that we like. We both picked a player that we want to have a bit of a talk about, a couple of numbers behind them. So sit back, strap yourselves in. Just a couple of questions here. Tyler asks, Socko, is that your brother in the background? Well, don't say what I think you're going to say, mate. You know.
Through to the keeper. Next.
Yeah, we'll leave that one for after dark. And then Nick Owen. How are you, Nick? Reckon 10,600. Well, He said Miles, so it probably suggests he's British. Away as a record for a listener. How are we, Jibs? On this Easter week, I asked two things and two things only. My Supercoach team to go well, and secondly, we get to beat the Saints. Poo emoji.
How are you? Well, mate, look, it's not a good time to be a Saints fan anywhere, apparently. Mate, I hope we can get up for you too. Yeah, red and white is not the colour to be wearing at the moment. So, yeah, mate, welcome, Nick. Glad to have you here. Hopefully you have a fantastic Easter break, brother, and hopefully you get into the chockies like I plan on doing.
Yeah, I hope it's all going well over there in Wigan, mate. I'm just pulling up the old weather forecast there because I think they're starting to come into their summer. And yep, that's good. Top of 10 degrees tomorrow. So all looking pretty good up in the north, mate. You know,
time
you got
time for the pizza.
Yeah. Go have a dip down at Grimsby or something, you know, fucking Stoke-on-Thames or whatever the fuck. Oh, listen, mate, it's cloudy with a high chance of rain for the next 7 days. So Nick is not missing any rugby league football this weekend. He won't be late for his assignment on the Watch NRL app.
Oh dear. I think he's just fired back. It's cold, mate, apparently. So
it is. But hey, listen, you know, at the end of the day, we're in the convict colony, 2 world wars, 1 World Cup, all that stuff, you know. Okay. So, and then it's another weather report here from Nick. Cloudy with a high chance of rain is how he says.
It's not where you guys start cheering on defensive plays, is it?
Socko, you know, this is just if you win the 50K this year, any chance we can get you over to Wigan to, you know, be on a beach and with the mankini on or something?
Mate, I'll swim in a beach. I'll swim in a river. You know, don't you worry. If I've won 50K, there's plenty of things that I'd love to do. And mate, yeah, look, one thing I'd love to do is get over to the UK and watch a bit of rugby league. So yeah, absolutely, you can count that as one of the options for 50K. The following one is Vegas next year. Maybe even tie that together, like bit of the north followed by a Vegas session and then trot back to Sydney.
Yeah, or it could be your punishment if you get the spoon in any of the leagues that we're in this year. You know, we send you to Wigan in a bikini.
Oh mate, look, I'm off the bottom of the table, all right. So you know.
Socko, so a lot of us have Joe Chan in our 2RF. In fact, I think he's like 90% owned. Shockingly, not by DJ7, who doesn't even have ownership over his own life enough to be here tonight with us. But a lot of us have Joe Chan. He's going to peak next week. If he gets a 50-odd against Penrith this week, which is very realistic, then he'll have like a 78 break even. I can't recall who Melbourne play the week after, but it's probably time to move him on at that point. He's served everyone very well. They play the Wars at home. Yeah, they'll probably put 50 on the Wars as they often do.
It might be a week after the game.
Yeah, if you trade him out, it does a ton. Thank us, I guess. But yeah, a lot of us will be getting rid of him, given he's going to peak at around 570K. A lot of people are also trading in Simi Sasangi this week in the center wing, meaning that we can do that 2RF to center wing dual trade. You know what I'm saying? You picking up what I'm putting down here, mate?
Pick it up. Pick it up what you're putting down.
So that should give everyone, you know, mid 600s, low 700s. You can basically get in any center winger that money can buy. So I just want to run through a few of these ones with you, Sock, and you let me know who you're keen on. I might just rattle off a couple of numbers and then give me like a little 5-second response to each of them, if that's all right. So the first guy on the hit list, I guess, is Jacob Kiraz. I project he'll be about 690K next week. Obviously, certified gun, you know, 70-plus average the last few years. Big concerns, though. He's only broken 2 tackles all year, Sock. Last year, he averaged 5 per game. So, obviously, that shoulder is causing a few issues. You know, gun to your head, any interest in Kiraz next week?
No, not at all. Like, Bulldogs, still haven't worked out how to take advantage of that sort of positive style of football, the free-flowing football yet. Looks like they're playing that native brand. His shoulder's obviously bothering him. Can't have it. Not when there's other options at the same price who maybe wear Penrith jerseys or Roosters jerseys or a few other teams. So I'm sure you'll throw my way.
Yeah, also a bit kind of shook with how much they keep changing up the combinations in game. Like, I hate that shit, man, when they're doing like fucking Critter at 6 and Bird in the centers. Man, just a bit of stability would be good. The second guy, Mark Nawaqanitawase, he will be $675,000 next week.
Yep.
He goes into a run of this sock, the Chooks.
Yep.
They play the Sharks in Perth.
Yep.
Then a day game versus Newey, which there's a fair chance we'll be at because it's at the SFS on a Sunday arvo. Then they play the next day. The game will also be at. Then they go and play Brisbane, then the Titans, then the Cowboys. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 of the next 6, which the Roosters are on. They should realistically put 40 points on those teams. Last year, he had an average of 104 in day games as well. And I believe that 3 of those 6 are day oriented. He's in like 1 point something percent of teams. Chooks love going right. Thoughts on Mark?
Yeah, look, I think he kind of feeds into potentially the next bloke you might mention to me, who also reads sort of red, white, and blue. Mate, I think you've got to have either one of Toya or Marky. Like, I think the Cooks have kind of had like this jank run early in the season, which like always trumps their value to like really appealing points. Yeah, you got Teddy like 40 last week with no attacking stats. Prime for like the Chooks to go away, like have the week off this week, come back. A new team. I think we'll see them play pretty well out in Vegas. Look, obviously, Marky got over twice against the Seagulls, right? So an early double for him. So yeah, certainly worth having a look at. Really vibey. Only problem is he can sometimes do some weird, real glitchy stuff. He does have like a 20 in him. So look, very fun own. Would happily own.
Low floor, high ceiling. If you're looking for a circuit breaker that may or may not trip, you know what you're getting into there. But I love it as a moonshot from the bleachers in the five-figure ranks.
But believe you me, Socky at 75K this week, which is up about 20,000 places on last week's one I had, is absolutely got one eye on a circuit breaker like that.
Yeah, and as we said, we've said it a few times, but like the right-hand side of the Chooks is their hot zone. They've got a couple of different variations I'm noticing this year, rather. You got kind of Siwa Wong doing that hit and spin offload. Toya, nice little right-hand flick he's developing. Then you've also got that classic Teddy shape where he goes around as the sweeper off the back. Again, still figuring it out, but Marky's always the end of that line. And yeah, he can obviously finish. Probably the best finish we've ever seen. That might be a hot take. Probably didn't really think that one out, but yeah, I'll fucking die on that hill. The next one, Socky, 660K-ish next week. Tolu Koula. Yeah, so he's pumped out like a 120 and a 90 so far. What I'm really liking with the way Brooks is playing, I've said that out loud.
Hold on. Hey, are you okay? Is there a gun to your head behind the camera?
Yeah. As soon as I said it, I knew there was going to be some concern. But listen, mate. One thing Brooks
zoom in on you like a hostage video here. Can you just make sure that you're alive?
Yeah, I just got a Barbie on the balcony at the moment. I don't know where he got it, but mate, Brooks is speeding him deluxe. I think they've kind of realised that he's probably the fastest in the league. And we saw it a couple of times against Truth Toya. Saw it a couple of times in the driving rain against Manly. Let me read you this draw that Manly have. Sorry, against Canberra, I meant. Manly have this draw coming up.
Yep.
Next week, they play your Dragons.
Yep.
Then the Cowboys. Then Parramatta. And then a couple of tough games against Penrith and the Broncos. So realistically, it's probably going to be a 3-week play. Strike centers, we kind of hear this mused about in the circles at the moment about, similar to what we're saying about the edges who are getting over. I think ball players are starting to shift a little bit more to these fast guys as the rucks kind of compress and tire around the middle. Koula, again, is the biggest exponent of getting on the outside shoulder and burning cunts. How do you feel about that? He's 0.3% owned as well, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, look, love it as a pod play. Love it as like a moonshot again. I mean, like, what's his scores been this year? I think it was a first round ton into potentially like a 24 in round two, into the buy into what, like a 94. So, mate, I mean, look, yeah, like great fun to watch. You love to see him in like open space. Obviously, yeah, like Manly's attacking threat this year is all going to be him and Turbo, right? So, kind of feels like it's probably a bit of a good insurance policy. If you're going to run, like, say, 3 fullbacks, say you are going to run something like a Sewer, a Teddy, and a Walsh or something like that, and you're not going to have Turbo there, maybe a good answer. Like, because like generally, like, he's either trailing Turbo on the inside or Turbo's trailing him kind of thing. So, yeah, certainly feels like he could be a great play there. I think looking at their run for the next couple of weeks, I think, what was it? It was like Dolphins, Dragons, into
Cowboys, Parramatta.
Cowboys, Para, and then it gets a bit more uglier, I suppose, for the following 2 weeks there. Yeah, look, I happily own him. He, like a great shout. He's got a pretty high break even this week, I think. Is it? What's his break even this week?
Yep, so he should hold value all right this week. And we'll get into that next game in a sec. But yeah, I think the underrated thing about someone like Kohler and Markey, all these guys, to be honest, is the excitement factor. Like, mate, just imagine if you fucking had something on Kohler, or he's in your team, and you just whip him home 70 meters on a downfield gallop. You know, he's fucking swerving in and out.
You've just seen him break Teddy's ankles and send him to the shadow realm.
Yeah.
And he goes over for your multi. And I think you and I watched that game together. I'm pretty sure we mused about the blokes down the end who definitely looked like they had a bit of cola either in Super.
Yeah.
Snap Teddy's legs from nowhere.
That's one of my favorite genres of viewership, is like watching cunts get up and about for like random fucking try scorers they're clearly on. Nothing better than it Manly when Turbo goes over first, I reckon. Like, the hill's just in absolute courts. That's the right word. I don't know. But yeah, Kohler.
The hill is heaving. Kohler's gone over. Some bloke looks like he's just won a 15-legger, and there's nothing better. There's no better form of rugby league.
Yeah, he's just put down a deposit on a duplex in Lambie Heights on the way home after Kohler's gone over for a double. Mate, the next bloke, speaking of try scorers, Casey fucking McLean, the 1-2-3 kid. He will be approximately 650K next week. Again, it feeds into our strike center theory. Penrith. You know, we've already spoken about. We both own IPAT. We both own NAIF. You know, can you go 3 on that left side essentially by having Casey? They love getting him the pill. He's, as we always say, he was only 19. He's still a teenager. He looks bigger. I like the hair. It's got volume. It looks a bit longer. Mate, he looks like he's been on Nathan Cleary's medicine cabinet routine, if you know what I'm saying.
100%.
Penrith are getting better. They play Melbourne this week, then the Dogs. Then they go into a run of Finns, Newey, and Manly the next 5. We are both going to have Case McLean in our team at some point this season. Is the time next week, Samuel?
Mate, I'd go 1 week removed. Like, I think, look, he probably bottoms out like next week, right? But I think that Bulldogs game could be a bit glitchy. Obviously, like, look, his break even's 48 this week. You're not expecting him to put on a ton, so yeah, he's probably bottomed out by this week or next week. But yeah, that Bulldogs game just could be anything there. Like, he's gone. I think his high score against him is 44. So he's only played them once, which would have been last year. But not a noted game. I think, is he lining up against Critter when he plays the Dogs? Like,
be Tuala.
It'll be Tuala this time around. Well, that changes things. So I think last year Critter did a pretty good job of locking him up, right, from memory in that Bulldogs game. It was a very hyped head-to-head battle, that one. So yeah, look, I think for me, Case is probably one that can wait a week. If you are kind of sitting on Chan and you're thinking, oh, look, maybe do I get another week, something like that? You know, can I get that trade to someone in the centre through Sasami? Or even if you've got someone who's lagging a little bit, you know, maybe a Tom Chester, for example, who's just had the week off and returns this week, and you've got a bit of a war chest, I think you could probably wait till round 7 to get him. But once round 7 comes in, that's a game up in Darwin against the Dolphins. That is going to be hot,
Darwin.
humid. That is going to be, TIO Stadium, mate.
Wow.
That is going to be downhill skiing. That is going to be a rugby league humping. To follow on from your run, obviously, we said Manly in round 9, Canberra round 10, Saints in Magic round.
Oh, well.
Yeah, yeah. So I think you can probably even hold him through to kind of that round 12 bye the Panthers have.
Yeah, you'd hold him all year, realistically. I mean, he doesn't play Origin especially, which I reckon he's a fair chance of doing so. On the wing even? Would you put McLean on the wing for Origin? That's a conversation, another pod, I guess.
Well, let's just go to New South Wales centres. I mean, it's Turbo and Trell, right? Like, in my mind, if fit all at best, even. Like, maybe they put Turbo on a wing.
Yeah, Caller. Is that a shout? Do you put Caller out? I mean, probably not, right? But
probably not. There's other players I think that are probably ahead in the pecking order.
Yeah, so I think round 7 for Casey looks great. And the final bloke we'll mention is Robert the Truth Toyer. He will be 636K next week. His price doesn't change from this week. He's got a negative break even. Last year, Sock, he scored 7 tries. This year, thus far, he scored 3 in 3 games. You know, as we said before, that's the Chooks' hot scoring zone, that right edge. Are they getting him more involved this year? I don't know. I'll probably have to go back and rewatch it a little bit. Last year, kind of a constant rotation of right edge 2RFs. You know, you had Radley out there for a little bit. CY Wong kind of came and went. I think Wong's got a bit more stability. Maybe Cherry Evans wants to feed Toyer a bit more, just as he used to feed Kohler. Is there something in that? I don't know. But Toyer would be probably the safest bet out of those ones, if that makes sense. Like, his base is a lot stronger than the aforementioned. Casey's base is actually all right. But yeah, fuck, man. Another guy that's going to be in 0.something% of teams, I reckon. Robert the Truth Toyer.
Only 1% owned at the moment, mate. I think he's probably the answer over Marky Mark. Like, Marky Mark's more of the vibey. The Truth Toyer is probably more the one, I think, for us where you kind of stabilise with him. Like, he's probably got less of an upside than Marky. You know, I wouldn't say that he's going to be going over for potentially a hat trick or 4, but mate, he answered with a double this weekend or last week, just gone, of course. You know, I think that right side looks to be more fluid at the moment than the left for the Chooks. So I think he'll be a beneficiary of the downhill scheme, particularly as the Chooks bring it together. Like, I really think you and I was mused on this. Like, this is the turning point for the Chooks season every year. They look trash up until round 6 or 7. I don't know. They go 2 and 4. Like, the media's on them. Robbo out. Like,
get him out.
He's overdone the steak and frites. You know, like, it's time to move him on, and then the Chooks come out for Anzac Day. So look, I think next week is probably, if you're going to get him, next week's the important week to get him. He's probably the most important out of all those guys, I reckon.
You reckon? Listen, for me, it's upside deluxe. I'm going Marky. I'm locked in on that, to be honest. Yeah, I just love the vibes. I love the random offloads on like kick returns. I like acrobatic put downs. Just a huge Marky Mark guy. I mean, it would be Karaz. He's a watch for me this week, Karaz, definitely. If he's looking a little bit freer and breaking a few more tackles, like, it's Karaz automatically, to be honest. But it's got to be a Rooster at the end of the day. So Marky looking likely over Truth. A couple other ones that just keep an eye on.
Sorry, I was just going to ask, Reece, like, let's say you're looking at getting in Teddy and even potentially Sammy Walker, who's going to be priced pretty cheaply coming into sort of that round 7 game against the Knights. Would you consider, like, if you're going to grab 1 or 2 of those, you know, would you consider maybe holding off on Marky because you are getting a Teddy or someone like that in?
Look, for me, it's a really easy decision. I've got 3 halfbacks at the moment. I've got Nath, Nico, and AD. In 2 weeks' time, Adam Dewey is going to be the same price as Tedesco. So that's an easy interchange there. Meaning I'll then have 3 Roosters. Teddy, Marky Mark, and that's right, Reece Robson. You and me both, hopefully, at that point. Whipping home our 52 points a week. A couple other guys to have a look at is KL Iro. Socky, you're a proud owner after last week where he bombed a try. Would have turned up if he'd fucking caught the Steeden. He is going to be low 600s, potentially even high 5s. They do have a bye after the Roosters game, so maybe it's a round 7 call on him. couple other ones that are falling in cash is Shibasaki. He could be even sub 500k, given he's had a few random games off the bench. They've got a really good run, as we mentioned before. Did we? No, but they have a good run. And then Brian To'o going into that round 7 where they play Finns, Newey, Manly, Saints, et al. He could be low 500s as well. So I don't think the argument's as strong for those three because they're not looking too crash hot. But in terms of dollar points per dollar ratio, it's probably this on paper the strongest argument. So anyway, that's that, boys. That's that. We'll move into the games ahead this week. Just throw to the comments first. Hand on Hog. Hand on Hog, one of our favourites here. Feels harsh he's not on tonight, but I'm generally interested as to whether DJ7 has ever made love to a woman.
Has he made love or what? I tell you what, there is a 33-year-old somewhere on the Sunshine Coast with a big smile on her face after his performance last Friday night. Welcome back. They mistakenly lifted his hinge ban. They brought it back.
Yeah. That's where he is, man.
lock up your wives. Lock up potentially even your sisters. Because 7 is back out here, and boy, is that man passionate. I've never seen a man go about his work quite as passionately, actually, as 7. So, yeah, mate, he certainly has made love, and believe you me, he's not getting anywhere near my girlfriend.
That is probably one of the more underrated storylines of the season is DJ7 being unleashed on Hinge again.
After lost interest in Supercoach last Friday night, found interest in Hinge.
We'll get him to follow up on that answer to that question next week, I guess, as well. Because all I'll say is 1 night, 2 girls, English, Spanish. Boxzilla, did someone say Marky Mark? Yes, we did, my friend. And then, chiming in, one of my favourites in the Rugby League Supercoach community, the SC Cheese. How are you, Cheese? Sock, you may remember last year that the Cheese and I did a show where we analysed tries by holding our phone. I held my phone up to the camera because YouTube gave us copyright strikes or something. The NRL fucking tried to shut us down. And if there's a man that can talk shape like Kronk, it's the SC Cheese. Cheese, if you're still tuning in, mate, penny for your thoughts when it comes to Nico and Trindle this year. And we spoke about it a lot last year and how it was looking a little bit, how you going? But there's been some beautiful variations on some plays that they're running where both of them have scored tries, both of them teed up tries that I'm sure you're an absolute pig in shit, mate. So shout out to you. I hope you're going good. And shout out to the Shape God, the SC Cheese. His comment was tuned in at the Luke Brooks point. What a point to enter.
If you tune in at a point where Luke Brooks and the good things that he's doing, maybe it's time to tune back out because the two blokes talking clearly don't know what they're on about.
Hey, that's the only time you'll ever tune in and we'll be talking about Luke Brooks. That's for sure. Socky, 8 games this week because there are 17 teams in the comp and the PNG Thieves aren't in it yet. We have 8 games. The first one tomorrow is Manly playing away at KO Stadium up there at the Redcliffe Leagues Club, which first of all, I love the optics of that. You know, they've got the Leagues Club next door. There's cunts on the Steve Aoki's having darts on the balcony. There's balls getting kicked into the bloody, the kids' swings and all that kind of shit. I kind of like the lack of lighting. It just gives us that real suburban feel. Great optics coming out of Redcliffe. The exercise that we're going to do here, guys, is we're just both going to pick a player that we're keen to watch. Maybe we own, maybe we don't. Maybe we're keeping an eye on him for the future. Socko, just a quick one for me. One stat to note, this comes courtesy of Rugby League Realm, is right-hand-sided players versus Manly average 79, which is actually the highest in the comp so far this year in terms of right edges. So that's Finafiliaki for all you Finafiliaki truthers out there. But for me, the man to watch is Tom Trbojevic. He's played 2 games against the Finns in his history, Sock. He has very tidy scores of 128 and 173. Yep. Obviously, Seabold out, Robbo out, all that shit. New coach, new vibes. Turbo's a skipper. They look like they weren't playing for him by the end. You could kind of sense that in the, I don't know, even in the presses that I like watching, that he was just so off. Seabold, Foran comes in. He's a boy of boys. You know, new energy there. Turbo, Deluxe. He's my one to watch. What about you, mate?
Mate, I think for me, Turbo's going to be a bit of a hate watch this year. You and I have mused at a lot of points about how good Turbo is, particularly at home. Like, almost can't watch a game with him playing a brookie. Look, interim coaches, you know, look, there's always a circuit breaker effect at some point. Whether it's going to come this week, I don't think so. I think the Finns have held their gloves up pretty well. I think, if anything, potentially the circuit breaker for Manly probably comes the following week against Saints, just based off what I've seen so far. I think it's going to take a little bit of time. Like, I agree that Manly weren't playing for him. I personally will be death riding Turbo. I'll probably get Tola Cola as a bit of an insurance policy in the next week or two. That'll be the play there for me, and I'll just death ride Turbo this year. But, mate, look, yeah, like against the Finns, look, Finns can leak. I'm just going on that performance against Cronulla recently, where they went properly gloves up, even against the Bronx. They were pretty gloves up there in the Battle of Brisbane. So, yeah, I don't see that it happens this week. I think Kieran Foran, whilst a great player, it's a totally different beast being a head coach, and it's not like, put it this way, he's not Mal Meninga coaching that Queensland Origin side. You know what I mean? That could coach itself. He's coming in a club that's broken and fractured. He's got to try and get the boys back on the same page. I think the interesting optics there were, like, whilst you're talking about, like, the players being off Seabold, there was a comment made about Jamal Fogarty at the presser being like, well, I came here to play under Seabold, and there's Jason King standing 5 metres away, like, in clear earshot of him saying those comments and being like, yeah, I'm pretty disappointed. So I think it'll take a week or two for probably, week or two more for Manly to turn around. But
who's your player you're going to keep an eye on, mate?
Herbie, mate. I think Herbie's a sneaky captaincy option this week, or VC option. We've spoken about Herbie at length. So, yeah, mate, can't wait. Can't get enough of Herbie. He's looked so good. Like, he's another one of those players, kind of like Hailero. We're just edging him to kind of get some more proper attacking stats, because he's been averaging like 80, and that's without tries. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, I captained him last week, as you know, and there was a point in that first half where he probably could have gone over. Stags was kind of up in his grill, but he fed Cobbo a bit early. That's very easy, a 110. One thing I'm kind of a bit trepidatious about, if you will, with the Finns is Nikorima is getting rushed, and there's not much space for Herbie to cook just yet. Kind of the opposite of what we were saying with Brooks and Kohler. So, I don't know. I think they're going to go right a bit more. They were feeding Averillo Deluxe going at Shibasaki and Ezra last week. I think that, that left edge defense from Manly is not looking too crash hot. So, I don't know if it's the week to VC Herbie, but happy to have him, no doubt. Souths and Dogs, my player to watch, mate. Bit of a niche one. Tallis Duncan. So, he has only started one game this year. Ewan Aitken's been starting. Duncan's been coming off the bench, playing 50-odd, 60 minutes or whatever. A couple of stats for you, mate. When Tallis Duncan plays 80 minutes in the back row, he averages 69 for his career. He is going to be priced in the low 500s. Again, another guy that's owned by 0 point fuck all. And then the only concern is Ewan Aitken kind of coming back and taking that edge. However, serendipitously, there's a message that's come through from the NRL Physio. Also, the Ewan Aitken thing is interesting. Official line out of South for the bye. There was a cork from round 2. This would be 3 weeks out now, and I've never tracked a cork needing that long out since I started doing this in 2017. The gibber is, the physio is foaming at the mouth here. I'd heard Aitken did his carpet training from a few people, so not sure what's going on there. So, yeah, very interested to see how Tallis Duncan goes, but it's all going to be dependent on Aitken. But, yeah, he's my guy to watch. What about you, mate?
Mate, my guy is on the other side of the paper. He wears the white and blue, which is rare for you and I. Like, you and I have probably a little bit of a disdain for Bulldogs and their players in general. You know, we have a death ride there. This is probably the one guy that you and I want to do well. That'd be Jacob Preston. In this case, I am still death riding him. He's currently 681K, 100 break even this week. Absolute pleasure to watch, particularly once the Bulldogs settle a bit on this attacking structure and get a few reps through. I think him and Galvin, like we saw it in that Vegas game, looked absolutely lethal. He went for 97 in week 1. He's gone for 78 in week 2. Last week, bit of an aberration with a 43 against the Knights. You'd love to see him get locked up for like another week or two, right? Like you just love to see him just struggle that little bit more for the next week or two, down to maybe about that 600K, which is probably about the cheapest you're going to pick him up. You know, to kind of give you an idea, it's South and then Penrith, which, look, I think South can do a job if they're on and lock up the Dogs and keep it close. I think it then opens up a little bit for Preston. So it'd be Para, Bronx, North Queensland, Dolphins, and then it probably tightens back up again just before that origin period with the Sharks in round 11 and Melbourne in round 12. So here's one for me where I'm watching him going, look, if I could get Joe Chan to kind of ride me another week or two and bring me up to a presto, I'm probably looking at trading him in if the Dogs can, if the Dogs can get their attacking woes righted.
I like it, mate. I like it. He is a favourite of ours, Jacob Preston. Probably the only redeeming quality about the Dogs, him and Carraz. Tell you what, if there's a game that I'd love to be a draw, no fan to go home happy, it's Souths fans and Bulldogs fans on Good Friday. Tell you what, they can both get in the bin. Mate, the next game on Friday night is the Storm playing at Penrith. Penrith Stadium being relocated to Parramatta this year as redevelopments happen out in Cambridge Park, I believe. Caddens even. Mate, my player to watch is the guy I've traded in, Nathan Cleary. Concerningly, he's played 9, or I think it's 10 or 9 games against Melbourne for his career. He averages 63 sock, which I believe is his lowest average against any team. He's only ever had 1 ton against them, which was 3 years ago. Yep. What I'm kind of curious about and keen to watch him is Melbourne's edges have been pretty leaky the last couple of weeks. Like we just saw Burns go a double. Lukey kind of goes straight through. You got Murray Taulagi scoring on the sting. You know, we go back a week before, it was that Broncos game that we both whipped home the Bronx at 10-1 at halftime, if you recall.
Do I recall?
Yeah, you kind of got Walsh kind of causing issues on the right with Ricky. I think Jordan Snicky scored a double. So, yeah, really keen to kind of see how Nath engages the right back rower, which is going to be Liam Martin. You know, slightly concerned that Nath might be more that middle third, and then you might see a bit more upside in your Dill Edwards, your circuit breaker boy. Yeah. So they can shift out to To'o. I think they've got Melbourne have got a rookie left winger again who missed a couple last week on Burns. But yeah, ultimately just kind of keen to watch Nath, man. I haven't owned him this year. I've just enjoyed watching him as a footy fan generally. And I think he's got the ball on a rugby league string this year. Dally M he's due a Dally M, isn't he? So yeah, Nathan Cleary for me, mate. What about you?
Yeah, mate, on that Cleary point, I don't know if you recall the Australian tourism campaign, Where the Bloody Hell Are You? But Nathan Cleary truthers are asking you that question, winner. Where the bloody hell are you, mate? Nice to have you join us on the island. We've been sipping Mai Tais while we wait for you, even through what was like kind of a hellish opening sort of 4 or 5 weeks, right? Like this is kind of the penultimate game before it starts opening up a little bit for Penrith, I feel. This and then the Bulldogs, then it'll start opening up, right? So to those of you that held Nath early, like your boy Sock and MIA 7, mate, welcome. I suppose for mine, like 2 things. The one to watch, like, and probably for me also as an owner, is Dill Edwards. He unfortunately, like, he'd been absolutely storming to start the year with scores of 85, 65, 93. I've gone, I need a circuit breaker. It's looked great till Kinney's gone bang bang late in that Titans game. Found some attacking stats finally and some line breaks and line break assists, and all of a sudden Dill Edwards 39 last week is awful. A game where Penrith looked like they were scoring at will, respectfully to the Parramatta Eels. So I think if you're a non-owner, like, there has to be some appeal there in watching him. He's got 104 break even. Can the Storm hold their gloves up If so, yes. Can you then get Dill Edwards in a week or two, or probably 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks time, potentially at like closer to 600K, which is an absolute steal for Dill Edwards. Like you've had him before. He's a great player to own. Generally does really well. Like he should be a massive beneficiary of the new game structure. So he's one to watch. The other one to watch is Harry Grant, and does he keep the kicking team?
He won't. I think Meaney's playing this week, isn't he? So not the Grant. Grant can't even kick it, mate. He couldn't kick his dog.
Okay, question for you, Winner. Like just on that game, because I think like it's a pretty like pertinent point, right? Melbourne rarely lose 2 in a row. They went down in quite a surprising result to the Cows last week.
Yep.
Despite a Warbrick quad. Like where are they at? Like do they hold the gloves up here? Like is someone like Nath a potential captaincy option this week or VC option this week against them? Like what are you sort of thinking there? Because I'm not liking what I'm seeing out of the Storm over the last sort of 2 or 3 weeks. Like even that game against Saints, like it took Suafeo Logo to wake up and Gutho to go off with an HIA for them to really work themselves into that game, right? Like Saints were
he's not. He's not a VC or a C option this week, Nathan. I don't think historically doesn't do too well against Penrith, and I'm kind of, I don't know. Like I think Penrith win, but Mitch Kenny's not playing, man. Mitch Kenny's their best defender. He's line speed deluxe. You got Freddie Lussick in there. That's a big it's a big drop off. So I don't know. Probably a tight game. I think Nath steps up in the big moments. Maybe a bit of Munster stuff. Munster's been a little bit quiet this year. I don't know, but how can you really stop that Penrith defense? I mean, they conceded. They leaked a little bit against Para, but that was kind of game was over by then. Really, just mostly concerned about Melbourne's edges. And that's why I'd be excited for you as a Dylan Edwards owner. Probably you and about 8 other people owning Dylan Edwards. Yeah, I think he's going to TA deluxe out to Toto this week. Mate, the next game is your Saints playing at Kogarah against the North Queensland Cowboys, a game that we will be attending together, getting Ferrell on the hill. Mate, my guy to watch is a fella that you own. It's Couchman Toby. So, Toby Couchman has had one of the greatest bludgers of the season so far. He, 70 in round 1, 40, HIA minutes being tampered with. Next week, he's going to be in the low 500s, guys. The reason I bring him up is when he starts at prop for his career, it's only been about 10 games, but he averages 62 minutes when he starts at prop, averages 72 points in 62 minutes. So it's a bit of a Alex Twile kind of situation, I guess. Big watch on Toby Couchman's minutes this week. If it kind of goes back to normal, where he's in that, 2 30-minute stints, he's going to be low 500s next week, and he's probably going to be in my side. What do you reckon, Socky? Who are you keeping an eye on?
Yeah, mate, I've got 2. I've got a little pod play for those of you out there looking for a moonshot this week that I want to mention. I'll start off with who I've really got my eye on. It's that Hamish Stewart again. Last week, 85 in the Saints team. Jag, AKA, was there or thereabouts on the kick chase every time, contesting kicks. Went within a bee's dick and probably another 1 or 2. Probably went within a bee's dick of catching one for a try and then another one for a TA if he hadn't been able to get the offload over the top of the Titans defenders. So, mate, he Flano with the magic trick every week, as we alluded to earlier. Hamish Stewart wearing the 13, and we'll start Selle. I'm not quite sure.
Got him again.
Yeah, Hamish is ready for 80 or like every game. Like, and if he's not, great, give him 40, pull him off, put someone else on, then put him back on. Like he looks so good. He's doing all the cleanup work for Saints. Huge score from him. He's only improving. I think. Look, Couchman probably takes some minutes away from him. You'd love to see him finally actually start and just hold on for 80. Whether that happens, it's a bit hard to know with the Cook or Little. If you own him, great. He's got a break even of 8 this week. He's priced at $4.79 at the moment. So you probably in a week or 2 maybe get off him and nuff him or go up to someone when he's in the mid 500s would be my guess there. But yeah, absolute pleasure to own him. Currently owned by 8% of teams. So he's been great. Now for my little pod play. You'll remember, Reese, this is a friend of the stream, all pumped up, but tell us how, is a second rower.
Yep.
noted try scorer for the Cows, Helam Lukey. Can I ask you what position he plays?
Helam Snicky, mate. He'd be a right edge 2RF as well, wouldn't he?
He would, mate. He would. He'll be running at noted defenders Moses Sully and Little Contact Tegea this week. So if you are looking for a VC option or a, dare I say it, a C option.
Wow, no, you wouldn't. You would though. You would on the hill. I mean, you're fucking 6 schooners deep. I reckon you're having a look at it.
Yeah, let me feel something from that game other than depressing dark thoughts. Look, yeah, I think I legitimately think he's a great VC option. If you've got someone that you can play up with, like maybe a Walshy against the Titans, I think, I definitely see him as being a valid VC option this week. I'm not going to hold the gloves up on that edge this week.
Listen, you're completely right, mate. You got a clown show on that edge. You got Luciano Lure, who's got the turning circle of the bloody QE2. You've got LKT, which stands for Little Contact Tongia, and then Moses Sully, who's just a clown show in his own right. Yeah, that's Lukey's going over for a try this week.
Sorry.
I'll put it on. I'm just going to put it on.
Sorry, mate. Do you hear that? Do you hear that? Is there someone at the door? Hold on, let me find out. Sorry, who is that? Sportsbet, mate. They're calling me. They've asked me. They've seen something and they've asked me to go.
What's he paying? What's he paying? Because it's probably not short enough.
Now this certainly isn't financial advice, but Helam Lukey at $3.45 anytime.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
He's $3.45 anytime. In fact, I'm going to put it. Don't you worry. I'm midstream punt here.
Is that, mate? Sock. Is that Australian dollars or Japanese yen? 340.
I don't know, but there's 70 of the best that have just gone and slapped down on Helam Lukey's Lukey 1-5 try. I'd actually love to know what he's paying for 2+ as well here. We might actually
you would
in the market here.
While you look at that, I'll move on to the next game. Speaking of right edge back rowers, Broncos are playing at the Gold Coast Titans Stadium up in the Gold Coast, I'm guessing. That is a great matchup for the right edge of the Titans. Sock, I'll give you a stat. This is courtesy of Rugby League Realm. Shout out to the Rugby League Realm.
Yep.
The right edge back rower versus the Brisbane Broncos this year. Guess what they average? I'll just ask you, give me a number. What do you reckon they average?
Sorry, right edge against the Brisbane Broncos?
Yep.
70?
Made 103. Yeah, it's the highest scoring position in Supercoach this year. Again, early days, but so who may be the right edge back rower for the Gold Coast Titans? The man that scored the double hurt around the world last week, all pumped up, but tell us how. Mate, I can't wait to. It writes itself. Lukey into all pumped up. What's that paying? I mean, fucking fair dinkum.
Are you suggesting 2+ into 2+, and maybe you put the VC on Lukey and the all pumped up and tell us how? I don't.
Yeah,
I will tell you what that's paying, because Helam Lukey 2+ is paying $14 at the moment. By the way, just quietly.
Yeah, just quietly. So yeah, all pumped up, but Arama Howe is my my go. Yeah, can't wait to watch him. I think that the Titans probably struggle. The Broncos' defense has actually looked pretty good on their goal line the last couple of weeks. They haven't really been leaking much.
Yep.
But, yeah, I mean, we saw Fina Filiaki nearly get over a couple of times last week as well, going at Ezra. You know, you got Shibasaki back in there as well, who's been a bit patchy at best defensively. So he's my guy to watch, and probably not VC like you, but, hey, I'll have a little bit on him. What about you, mate? Who in that game is good while I put on Lukey into all pump? Tell us how.
Yeah, mate. Treat yourself to the $300 odds that it's paying. I think it is. It's $322 for those of you playing along at home. Anyway, moving on. Mate, my watch is actually an interesting one. And he's been a Supercoach GOAT for a long time, but is unfortunately looking a little bit washed this year. Weird things going on at the Titans. You kind of would have thought that, you know, this frantic style of football was made for him. You know, big minutes, big tackle counts. It's Tino Fasuamala-Awi. I didn't realise how far he's actually sub 560K at the moment.
What's doing, eh?
6, mate. Like, averaging 43 this year. Under like, he's probably one of those players that you sat there like pre-season, much like I did, and mused about, do you own him? Like the scoring restructure should be good. I'd actually be keen to know what your spreadsheet predicted prior to the season kickoff on that. But yeah,
nice try up.
Mate, 96 is his break even. So I'm just kind of wondering, like, what are we seeing there from him that's causing this? Like, I think Hane's not fucking putting in the minutes that Des was into him and other previous coaches have. Hane sort of seems to be like, right, we're going to try and preserve you a little bit, Tino. Do we think he's maybe carrying an injury, though, or something? Like, it doesn't seem right that Tino's only going for 43 Supercoach points every week on average.
Well, yeah, he's not playing the minutes, is he? I can't remember who it was talking about. I think it may have been Sowie or even like a Willie Mason or something. They were saying he doesn't look physically hurt. They reckon he's just off it. Something about like Mo Fodawaker dropping the ball off the kick. I think Tino's even dropped the ball off the kickoff a couple of times. They've made really glitchy errors, and they were saying that like they reckon his body language isn't too great, because of just the lackluster Titans around him.
Recommitted and like he's regretting it or something, like, because there was obviously that bit of drama last year about that.
It was, mate. It was. Who knows? I mean, fuck. It can't last forever though, can it? It's just all minutes based. Like his PPM's fine, probably not as good as what it once was, but they've been doing a lot of defending when he's on the field. Like I think on the weekend he only had like 4 carries in his first stint. Because Saints were holding the pill. But yeah, great shout. Definitely one to watch. How far can he go? How low can he go? Really? I mean,
can we nuff to Tino? Can I ask you another one quickly? And this is a quick one because I'm sure there's some jibs out there tossing it. One of your favorites, the AirPods kid, is averaging 90 a year. No, that's not one score of 110 and one score of 54. It's 2 97s back-to-back weeks.
Yep, the AirPods.
700.
We love the AirPods kid, mate. Oh yeah, always interested. I've got a lot of love for Mr. AirPods. But no, like I can't bring him in. Like I've already got. Look, I'm set on Nico and Nath, right? And then Dewey's there, so like he's not getting into my team. But it does speak to a bigger point that, mate. How about this, Sock?
Yep.
I'll read you this number out. The top six averaging halfbacks are all 86 and above, right? Top 6, 86 and above. The top 6 fullbacks, 70 and above. There's only, basically like halfbacks are outperforming fullbacks deluxe at the moment. Again, early days, make of what you will. Is it ruck speed? Is it this? Is it that? Hard to kind of put a finger on it, but yeah, wouldn't knock anyone if they already started. Probably didn't start with JC, given he was out for the first couple of weeks, but yeah, fantastic player to watch. Love him. Mate, next game, 2 more games.
Sorry, just quickly, is that something to do we think, with goal kicking? Like, there's obviously more goal kicking halves than there is fullbacks, particularly at the moment. Like, there's more points being scored, etc. Like, goal kicking become more important than ever. Look at Harry Grant, highest performing hooker. He's been goal kicking for a couple of weeks for Melb. So,
well, mate, he's like
goal kickers. Is
like
goal kickers?
Harry Grant's like 2 from 9, mate. Settle down. The next game is the Waz playing at the Sharks at that beautiful stadium with that lovely apartment next door. That is going to be on a Sunday arvo. Love the vibes there. Just love a Sunday arvo at Shark Park for some reason. Just everyone in the stands getting pissed, doing the spirit fingers, all that kind of shit. The guy that I'm keen to watch is a guy I've loved watching all year. It's Nico Hines. Mate, how's this? Bit of a stat for you with Nico. For his career, since he's joined Cronulla Sock, when he plays at Shark Park, what do you reckon his average is?
Oh, at Shark Park? 95.
Yeah, 90. Not bad, eh? His base power average this year is 53. There was a bit of rhetoric in the preseason about him running the ball more, bulking up a little bit. Yeah, he's certainly running it. His base power is 53, which is beyond elite for a halfback. What I'm kind of curious about is the way that the Tigers attacked the Waz last week. Again, we already spoke about Cogger kind of going through the middle, Dewey playing 2 passes wide of the ruck, getting space to cook, and just burning Pompey, burning Leka Halasima, burning Jacob Laban.
Yep.
Really kind of curious as to whether that's going to be the Sharks game plan, where you got Tricky doing his shit in the middle. Maybe Brayley kind of gets skips wide, gets Nico on the outside. Yeah, Nico's running the ball more. I think that wide running half is going pretty well against the Waz, as based on the Adam Dewey heroics last week. So yeah, really keen to have a look at Nico. Do I put the C on him, Sock? I mean, it's probably a conversation for the next segment, but I'll have a look at it. How about you?
Mate, yeah, look, absolutely hate watching Nico go around and not owning him, to be honest. I've got Dewey and Nathan my side at the moment, and it's one of the all-time great hate watches. I think, look, the one thing that makes me feel a little bit better this week is obviously that game is against the Waz. Let's have a look at it here. It looks like Tab has the Waz at $3.25, Sharks in at $1.35. I actually think that's fairly disrespectful. I don't think the Sharks are looking amazing this year. Like, Tricky's kind of, I'd say Tricky looks the best part of them, but there's still kind of that glitch. Like, I remember like that game against the Finns a couple of weeks ago, right? Like, it wasn't what we wanted to see. I think for me, my biggest watch does come from the Sharks. Again, it's that Kale Iro piece, one that I own, one that I haven't loved owning this year. You know, with the first couple of weeks, it was kind of like, yeah, like basing well, like needs to jag an attacking start, and like it'll all be good. He's finally crashed over on the weekend for a try, and mate, he's gone for a 65 with a try, like line break and try. As we said, another one went begging in that game. He's now down almost 80K for the year. Not great optics on him at the moment. Like, you're hard to trade out because, you know, the moment you trade him out, he's going to probably go over for a double in consecutive weeks. So
of course,
you can't really trade him out, but you're also sitting there going, well, look, you know, I could have Simi Sasungi in an elevator going the other way, you know, for 100K less, right? So he's kind of in this weird spot. I think, look, if you don't own him, you're kind of really happy. His average, his 4-round average, or 4-round average at this point is 56. 3-round average is 60, so it's trending in the right direction. 11% owned, so potentially a pod for non-owners out there. For me, as an owner, I'm just hoping that, like, he comes good, he gets a bit more ball, like gets another try this week. Hopefully the base is there. Against the Wires, obviously, like, they'll probably need him to take a few carries there, you'd imagine, back at home. So hopefully that comes up for Kale Ferrell. But yeah, one that's concerning me about my side, I think, I'd love to see a little bit more out of him this week.
Yeah, so he's the left center. The right center is CNK, new combination with, I believe that's Metcalf on that side, who's just come back in. They got DWZ out there as well. Jacob Laban, not a great defender on the right. Yeah, I think Iro goes over again this week. Again, probably unlucky not to get a ton last week, realistically. Simi Sasungi, nice one-on-one stop on the line for Sierra. And that last two games, mate, you got Canberra playing up at Newcastle on Sunday Arvo, which I believe is the Newcastle Knights Gina Reinhardt Appreciation Day. You know, where they wear those fucking
not the mining jerseys. Man, those things are cursed for the Knights. I feel like they never play well when the orange and blue come out the high vis.
Well, I'll tell you someone who is going to play well in the high vis. It's Fletcher Sharp. And I'll tell you why he's going to play well, Sock. Because I found out on the Knights Instagram yesterday that Fletcher Sharp's dad is a miner from Cessnock. If that's not an omen, I don't know what is. If there's a bloke that is going to be comfortable in the high vis, it's Fletch. Sharks last week against Canberra found a lot of success going left. I think Stone Street scored, Idle scored, Teague Wilson scored, Tricky I think even went through on that left-hand side. That's obviously Fletcher Sharp's side with Lucas Best. This may be copium because he looks absolutely busted and he was limping around Deluxe on the weekend. But if he's even at 70%, I think that he could pull the pants down of that right-hand defense. As much as I love Sasungi, as much as I love Noah, the Ark Martin, Strange, it is a new combination. Newcastle fairly well settled on that left side now, I guess, with that those players we just mentioned. So yeah, I'm tipping Fletch for a big one if he can get through the 80 minutes at home, Sunday Arvo, mining gear. You know, the strapping on the knee still, I don't like that, but I do like the fact that he's in his dad's work attire, mate. Who are you liking? Who are you keeping an eye on in this game?
But actually, for me this week, it's a bit of a death ride. That game, it's the Sasungi death ride, who I sort of mentioned that at this point I'm not going to get on. I'm not going to burn the boost to get on him. I'll just stay firm with Kaolero. So death riding Simi, who you're obviously a noted fan of at this point. I'm also death riding Fletch because I've traded him out this week. Yeah, I couldn't sit around and watch AD go for another ton, which we'll probably discuss in the next game. Yeah, I only had one fullback. I had Ethan Sanders, my second fullback. Couldn't make it happen any other way. This gives me the cash gen to bring someone like a Teddy in next week as well. Brings me up to like 220k in the bank. Fletch obviously a high break even. So for me, I'm probably hoping that Fletch goes the wrong way, and I can maybe reinvest in him when I buy the dip in a few weeks' time.
Who'd you trade him out to, mate? Just out of interest.
Oh, mate, I just absolutely nuffed him. I've already got Cody Walker sitting. So I've gone with little Cade Reed, who to the Saints fans, mate, to the Jib Saints fans who like me are calling for Cade Reed to come and are sick of this. Well, if the player, if we put him in early, we're going to mentally break him, right? You don't give him every game if he's not performing, right? You just pull him out. But if he performs, fuck it, let him ride. The bloke's gone for 2 TBs last week. He's gone for 2 LBs. He's gone for 2 LBAs. He's kicked a fucking 40-20. I think he's put on 3 tries. He's run fucking 12 times for 124 running meters. Fair dinkum. The bloke's kicked for 400 meters. What more? What does he have to do?
Mate, that's all well and good, but I don't understand the point of bringing in a reserve grader into your Supercoach side. I'm not sure if you weren't aware, but he has actually been named in the squad this week. At times like this, I wish Sippy Down 7 were on the stream tonight to tell you to pull your head in and take off your
circuit breakers. I went gloves up last week with the circuit breaker. I'm going gloves up again this week with the circuit breaker. You can keep Fletcher's 57 for 700 odd K, and I'll take Cody Walker's brain explosion. Thanks, mate.
Well, you also take an MPR out of Cade Reed because he's not getting on the field all year, mate.
Mate, loop. It's a good loop opportunity. Leave me alone.
The final game, Easter Monday, Socko, it is going to be the Wests Tigers playing at Parramatta. Is that game at Parramatta Stadium?
CommBank again, yeah. 2 CommBank games this week.
Oh,
but you were at CommBank the other week. How good is it as a stadium? Like, even the atmosphere, watching it through the TV, kind of how dark it gets, and the mood lighting, or even the daytime games. Growl's venue for the league.
It is, mate. And obviously, we shared a great experience there. Watched the Pacific Nations final. Champs final there last year. That was unforgettable stuff, to be honest. Just the atmosphere, sonically, the sound holds in that stadium really well. And it's kind of a niche observation, but yeah, there's not many louder stadiums in the country. I've only been to 10, but listen, that game's on Easter Monday.
Yeah.
Obviously, know that is the day that Christ rose or some shit. I don't know. Sorry to offend anyone. We both went to Catholic schools, so we should probably know that, but. For me, mate, the guy I'm interested on is it's a day of religion. It's a day of fundamentalism, and as you may know, if you do a basic Google search on AD controversial statements, there is no more devout Catholic in the rugby league world than AD. He doesn't like certain people, but he does love scoring Supercoach points. So for me, really interested in AD. Obviously, he's only got 2 more weeks on my side before he gets ready to speak Tedesco. Let's go out with a bang, AD. If he's kicking, I'll captain him. There you go. I've said it. I like the optics again. I'm a big optic guy. Sock. I like high vis Fletch. I like AD on a holy day. All these kind of things. You got to look into this stuff a little bit deeper, guys. Always said it. Always will. So AD is my guy. Who are you, mate? Who are you liking? Is it Josh Papali'i?
Look, Josh Papali'i is one guy that I've thought about bringing in instead of the reserve grader that we've just spoken about. Mate, realistically, 2 watches for me there, just quickly. One, Makasini, love to see him finally get over. I feel like that comes Easter Monday. I feel like he's been edging us there. I reckon Makasini scores a try. this week. I think as well, on top of that, my watch is actually Kai Pearce-Paul, under that sort of heading of what we were talking about, which is high performance 2 RFs.
Yep.
And mate, I think you saw all the vision with him last year, and we got none of the upside to one Adam O'Brien. Sorry to Triggy Unites fans who kept him really locked up. Mate, he's gone through his first three games of the year, 98, 61, 90. I mean,
he's couple of tries.
3-round average of 83. He's priced at 647. I think he could be someone that you could hold all year. He's origin immune, being an English fuller, and having played over there before he did over here. So I sort of feel like he could be one to watch. 59 break even this week. Wouldn't surprise me if he gets over. I think he may be playing in that same position where Jaden Sewer absolutely stormed through him last week. 2 weeks ago. And I'm pretty sure the Panthers got over through that spot as well. So I think Kai Pearce-Paul for me is certainly one to think about. Even I might even have a bit of a flirt with him this potentially.
Wow. Yeah, no, listen, Para have conceded the most points in the comp, so I think it's a bit of a try-scoring bingo, especially if it's a flat track. Yeah. And if there's any semblance of AD being anywhere near a kicking tee, he will have an armband around his biblical arm. So that does it. That's the wrap-up for the games this week. Just go back to the comments here, Socko. SC Cheese chimes in regarding our previous point about our former podcast that was shut down by the NRL. The handheld video reviews were ahead of its time. Certainly was, mate. Just speaking on, this is Cheese speaking on Nico and Trindle, Sock.
Yeah.
He says, it finally looks like they both realize they can play make. I think we will see Nico's run game come back in the next few weeks. Tricky has been in red hot form, though, and the overcall. Yeah, that's certainly what it's been, hasn't it? You know, Tricky gets a couple of nice plays under his belt, a couple of forced dropouts, the 40-20, whatever, try assist. Tricky's getting the ball most of the time in attacking shape, but that simplifies Nico's role, and he's already proven that he can execute those high upside plays. So, yeah, must be a pleasure to watch as a Sharks fan because it's looked a bit dicey for the last couple of years.
Can I ask you, Reece, one thing to talk about? Braden Trindle, 5'8". It's a bit of a graveyard this year if you're not on like someone like Fletch, right? Obviously, Cody came out, went bang, and then has been whimpering ever since. So, like, his 3-round average is 60.3, but he overall 78.3 for the year. Look, Tricky is someone that I owned twice last year somehow. And he did demonstrate in round 2 what he's capable of, a famous Tricky 22 against the Finns. Since then, though, he's been trending back up in the right direction. Like, is there any interest in him at about 500K, break even of 4?
Mate.
If Sharks go well again this week, let's say.
Yeah, 5'8's been written off as a bit of a dead zone by many, and probably for good reason. You know, there's not a lot of household names here, but you know, I will tell you this, Sock, that Jonah Pezzett's nearly tonned up, Jake Clifford's nearly tonned up, Trindle's tonned up, Luai's tonned up, Fletcher Sharp will ton up this weekend in the high vis. Cody Walker's tonned up. There's still plenty of upside there. It's just going to be a matchup-based decision as to who you play alongside Fletch. For me, mate, the easiest trade I'm going to make this year will be Jonah Pezzett to Jerome Luai when he returns. And the reason I say that is Pezzett should be in the same kind of price range as Luai, who has a negative 27 break even at 460K. So, yeah, again, I'm not going to play Luai every week, but that's such an easy move to make. And I think, yeah, everyone should be kind of keeping a tabs on. Well, Luai's probably going to be the guy, realistically, with that number. But yeah, I don't sleep on the second 5'8" slot, no doubt. Which is why I think you're an idiot for nothing to Cade Reed. You know? Boxzilla, thoughts on team setups revolving around 3 halfbacks or 3 fullbacks? Who do we see going better? Historically, fullbacks will go better. We know this historically, but again, this is a different game this year. Given ball in play, more fatigue. You know, who has their hands on the ball the most in this competition outside of the hookers? It's the halves, usually, you know, especially the ones that play both sides of the ruck. So an interesting one to keep an eye on. But for me, yeah, I think I like the structure of having Nico, Nath. I think that's pretty lock away the key. And then three good fullbacks who've got good draws. Hand on hog. What is more likely to occur, Sock? DJ7 part in the legs of a woman his own age, or the Strait of Hormuz reopening? Where are you at? Yeah, both of those matters, mate. How are we looking in terms of geopolitics?
Well, mate, I mean, look, if I'm honest, keeping it with the naval theme relative to the Strait of Hormuz, I'd say that DJ7 is a man of one phrase and one phrase only, and he poured in a storm. Look, I can't speak for him, but I will, and say that anyone will do. All are welcome as well. So, look, I think the own age has merit this week. Potentially as he gets a few hinge runs under his lap. Look, you look at the pre-seasons, right? There's always those weird kind of Brisbane trial games where it's like the Broncos and they play Brisbane or like East Tigers or whatever up there. Some weird glitchy
Always
some like dog shit side in week 1 for the trials. So maybe he's just having his trial season. Strait of Hormuz opening, mate. I'm holding oil futures, so I hope it doesn't open.
Yeah, shout out to the Bowser at the moment. I got stung for $3 a litre, close to the other day, but I wasn't paying for it. Shout out to Renuco Solar for putting the bill for that. Boxzilla comes in again. He says, how much meat is too much meat in 2RF? Thanks for clarifying. Currently got Twal, Fifi, Do You Love Me, Helam Lukey, Chan. Fucking hell, this Boxzilla's stacked deluxe. Look at that, man. That's 5 playable options. Nat Butcher. Would you go Nat to Fina Fuiaki? Mate, it's a bit of a jump. If you're going to do it, you'd do it this week because I think Fina Fuiaki is going to go gangbusters against running at Brooksy. However, if you didn't want to do that, what I reckon you do is listen to what we were saying before about Toby Couchman and Tallis Duncan because they're going to be fairly similarly priced in that Butcher, I dare say. Probably not as much of a jump. But at the same time, like if you've got the dough there to go Nat to Fina Fuiaki, I'd be doing it. As someone who brought in Fina Fuiaki a few weeks ago now, mate, he's got to be the fittest, one of the fittest in the comp. He goes just as hard in the bloody 80th minute as what he's going in the 8th minute. They can't stop him. Like if you go back and watch that Broncos game, like mate, the leg drive's unreal. He's got upside running off Katoa. And yeah, I think he's going to be, well, early days, obviously, hyperbole in that, but he'll be knocking on the door top 5s 2RF Socky, I reckon.
Sorry, yeah, I was going to say, Winner, I think, look, you kind of get a logjam if you go that, right? Like almost all those guys are playable. Like you're probably not playing Chan this week, of course, in his head-to-head matchup with Penrith, but mate, everyone else like is kind of playable there. Like you I don't know. Like, look, if you kind of lacking reserves elsewhere, yeah, maybe you look at like Finney. I feel like there's probably enough value for you elsewhere there. That
Boxzilla,
like 2RF.
You got Twal there, Boxzilla. Sorry to cut you off, Sock.
Yeah.
You've got, man, I reckon you could probably tell who your FRF is. We could probably comment on that because I reckon you could probably trade someone via Alex Twal to Fina Fuiaki.
Yeah, that's a better play there, I think.
No, sorry, he's got Nat Butcher as well, so you could probably even go Nat Butcher down to Lasardi, go a bit early on him before he comes back, or Couchman, and then, yeah, fucking options deluxe, my brother. He's got Ford, Mooney, all pumped up, FRF.
Oh, mate.
Mate.
Jeez, have you been filling up those little jerry cans at the pumps overnight, have you? You've got a stockpile there, Boxzilla.
Fucking hell, what salary cap are you working with at this time of year?
Mate, this bloke's running around with Daniel Atkinson and Ethan Sanders in the half.
Yeah, he's got Cade Reed and Hugo Savala in his 5'8". Final comment of the night comes from Nick from Wigan. He loved what you were saying about KPP, Socko. He's been banging the KPP drum since his Wigan days. Love the shout. Yeah, mate, really keen to see how he goes at West. As Sock mentioned, AOB basically put his big right mitt in a straight jacket and said, if you offload, I'll cut it off. But Benji seems to not have that. He's proven his upside straight away by getting 3 tries in 2 weeks. I like the way he's scoring the tries as well. And the one on the weekend was just like full effort, good kick chase. There was a glitchy drop ball. He kind of followed through. He's diving on kicks. He's running through holes. Yeah. Look, I'm probably not bringing him in tomorrow, but he's certainly in that conversation for top 5 URFs this season, 2 RFs potentially. And then he finishes off by saying, knew he weren't the fit, but this expansive rugby league from West will only suit him.
Mate,
Especially if
I'm in. The KPP, I'm in.
Especially if they're playing, at Leichhardt every week like they should. And then Nick finishes off here, just really reminiscing about his Wigan days here. The KPP played centre over at Wigan. Wow, I wonder if that's where AOB saw him and he thought, fucking hell, mate, there's a centre out there that doesn't offload. I'll have him. And I'll bring him, put him on the edge. The speed of play won't bother him. He's fit as a fiddle. Yeah, he's a dead set specimen. I love it when Pommy Fords come over here. We never really see Pommy backs come over in here and give it a crack, apart from your boy Gareth Widdop. But fuck, we've had some great to and from in the pigs, haven't we, mate? Just think of Burgess, Gareth Ellis, fucking Adrian Morley, like these just tough bastards from the north, like who just no nonsense, fucking hard as nails operators.
Different breed. Jimmy Graham as well.
Stop it. That wraps us up for tonight. Sock, any final remarks, mate? You want to give Seven a spray?
Yeah, I'd just like to know where Seven is when his score goes under 1,100 and he goes missing. What is rugby league doing? You yuppie fuck. Nice to get one over on you. Looking forward to watching you go under the pen at Magic Round. Where you at? I thought there'd be another pen bet this week. Instead, he's gone MIA. That's all right, Seven. We'll send a search party out for you. And, mate, your answers do not lie in Supercoach this week because I'm going to do you again, son.
Are we going to send the same party out that they sent for that? What's the guy's name? Fucking something Friedman? Lukey Friedman or something?
Oh, the Desi Friedman party? Jesus. Rumour has it Jigas got lost at Seven got lost at a bush duff somewhere in regional Victoria. Found recently in a shipping container.
Yeah. Yeah, the reason Seven couldn't make the stream tonight, guys, is he's a sovereign citizen. We'll see you later.